Riesling. Riesling has a bad rap with many wine drinkers who often think of it strictly as a sweet wine. While several are made that way, there are many not-so-sweet versions out there. Products of Riesling include dry, medium, and sweet wines. Some are even capable of aging due to the grape's higher acid level. You may even see some on oak. The grape itself is an aromatic one with higher sugar levels, which does not help its reputation. While not as intense as some others we will get to later, you will often detect floral notes when whiffing this varietal. It is a very hardy grape that ripens late. Like Pinot Noir, Riesling is also very expressive of the soil type in which it grows. It does its best in moderate or cool climates. You're going to quickly learn that wines of different climates are going to be somewhat different in aroma and flavor. In Riesling, for example, green apple and fig will be detected in cooler climates. Peach or grapefruit is typical of moderate climates, and tropical fruit is a common clue of a hot climate wine of any type. This is easy to remember if you think of what fruits fare mostly from the subject climate. Although this varietal does not do well in hot climates, you will find some winemakers giving it a shot anyway. While honey notes may show in Rieslings of any climate, it will really show in the warm climate wines. Germany, where the grape originates from, is famous for its Riesling. When buying quality German wines, there are two important classification terms to become familiar with. QBA, or Qualitätswein Bestimmter Anbaugebiet, is a basic sample of quality wine that must come from one of 13 qualifying regions, or Anbaugebiets. The next level up is Prädikatswein, or Prädikat wine. Prädikat is a wine of distinction from a qualifying region. Within the quality classifications is another system of classification with whom you should also become acquainted. This classification is based on the must weights, the amount of sugar in the juice, of the grapes at the time of harvest, and serves as a general guide of the order of sweetness. You should be very careful, however, as a wine from any of the first three categories can be dry. Since fermentation turns sugar into alcohol, a slightly more reliable guide is to look at the alcohol level on the label. The higher the alcohol, the lower the sugar, but again, this is only a guide. They will tend to start around 7%. If you're looking for a drier wine, do not go any lower than 10% alcohol by volume. At the beginning of this classification is Cabernet. These grapes are picked at a normal harvest. They can be dry or sweet, but should be delicate, light-bodied aperitif wines. Spätlese is a late harvest wine. They can be dry or sweet, but should be more concentrated and have more body. Auslese are from extra ripe bunches of individually chosen grapes. While they again can be dry or sweet, you are going to get riper fruit characteristics. From this point forward, you can count on the wines being sweet. Beerenauslese are made with select berries that will often have noble rot on them. Do not be frightened by the term noble rot. Botrytis, as it is otherwise called, is a perfectly acceptable mold that develops on the grapes, which dries them out and makes for some wonderfully concentrated sweet wines. Sandwiched in the middle is Eiswein, or ice wine, wherein the grapes are not harvested until they have frozen on the vines. Hanging around this long leads to some serious ripening and thus higher concentration and sugar levels. Because there is no rot involved, the wines will show their pure fruit characteristics. And finally, we have Trockenbeerenauslese, or TBA. These wines are only made during select vintages, are quite sweet, and will always be affected by noble rot. Due to their rarity, they have a high price point. Regions of Germany to look for are Moselle, Rheingau, Rheinhessen, and Pfalz. Moselle will have the lightest in body, where Rheinhessen will show fullest. Rheingau will give you the best chance of finding a dry example. Pfalz for sweet. If dry is your thing, look also outside Germany. Great Old World Rieslings can be found in Alsace, France, and Austria. In the New World, look to Clare Valley or Eden Valley in Australia, the South Island of New Zealand, Marlborough specifically, or the Finger Lakes region of New York. Canada is good for the ice wine. For this comparison, choose one wine from a cool climate, that would be Germany, Alsace, New York, or New Zealand, and one wine from a moderate climate, Australia or Washington. You will not only be looking for differences in aroma and flavor, but also for differences in color and possibly sweetness. See if you detect any petrol, which can develop in Rieslings from warmer region. Although I would recommend that you choose both wines from the same approximate sweetness level, and I personally would pick either a dry or off-dry, it may be fun to try some sweeter examples. Consider a comparison among the different must-wait categories. You may also do an Old World versus New World tasting exercise. Old World, of course, being wines made in Europe. New World is everywhere else. Things to look for on the label. Either Riesling or white Riesling are going to be true Rieslings. Any other label using the term Riesling, such as Welsh Riesling, is not a true Riesling. In the bottle, you will look for green fruit, stone fruit, citrus fruit, tropical fruit, floral notes, mineral notes, and of course, petrol. Pairing Rieslings. Rieslings work well with pork, fowl, shellfish, Thai, Indian, or spicy cuisines because of their tendency to balance out the spice. Salt, which will also balance out by the sweetness levels. Soft cheeses, salads, or desserts.